Healing Wisdom is made possible by members like you and sustaining members like Michael Brabowski. You can become a sustaining member of WOMR for as little as $15 a month. For more information, call 508-487-2619 or visit our website at WOMR.org, where you can learn more about legacy gifts and planned giving. You're tuned in to 92.1 WOMR FM Provincetown and 91.3 WFMR FM Orleans, the voice and spirit of Cape Cod. I bid you welcome to another episode of Healing Wisdom. I'm your host, Pandora Peoples, chartered herbalist and psychic medium. Healing Wisdom explores mind, body, soul connections as we discuss the healing effects of the arts, metaphysical concepts, intuition, and the spiritual aspects of everyday living. Healing Wisdom begins in the heart. Our theme music is provided by Mystic Pete.
One of my teachers pulled me aside. I just wanted to have more knowledge. I wasn't trying to become no daggone minister. I was an artist just trying to get to Broadway, but my calling was there. And so one of my teachers pulled me aside after our required tarot class. And I was sat in one class and she pulled me aside and told me, you don't belong in this class. I mean, this class is for novices. And I had already been doing tarot for like 10 years at that point or something like that, And she said, you don't belong in this class, but you do belong to the mystery school that I have been in for years. And she recommended me to this mystery school, which I joined. And it was a Rosicrucian school. Now, again, already I've been studying with teachers in this ministry that had already been exposing us to Rosicrucian teachings. So the foundation had been set. And when I then went on this, once I graduated and left, I was expecting to find more of the same. Just the truncated version, I did not find that. It's these 20 some odd years later, I have found, especially through through a wonderful life coach that I've worked with regarding the domestic violence, Celine Bartolo. She brought me back full circle, Shenu, into a level of the teachings. And that brought me back to remembering, where I was years ago and plugged me right back into a lot of the teachings. And I said, for myself, for my own grounding, I need to get back into a community of people who know what the heck I'm talking about. Because I was dealing with people who were talking with high level mysticism. My mentor of many years, Dolores Stevens, also came out of that community. She was like a Druid. She was a Druid priest, let alone priestess. And also, she was so many things, but again, this was the community of people I was used to dealing with, people who were mystics, high level mystics, and where that's the level of conversation I was used to dealing with and the level of esoteric work. And so I just went back. It was like I went back home. And once that happened, boom, 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 boom. I had to restructure everything in my book, because everything in my head just kind of like, because I felt also that I was holding back on a whole lot of different things because my foundation was there. And from a Khametic standpoint, that's where all my understanding of everything was there. The Khametic mysticism, the teachings regarding the mysticism of Akhenaten, and also the matriarchal aspect going all the way back to ancient Kemet. Everything just aligned. And even recently, I'm telling you, the prayers that I do, today was like an avalanche of all these things that have happened. People calling and asking for my Khametic yoga classes, and everything, just boom, 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 boom. My poetry, putting me right back into everything, the avalanche of everything with my artwork, my everything. Just because of the alignment of the energy being what I know to be so, with the Kemetic teachings and also with the teachings out of Lemuria, out of Atlantis, out of just all of that. When, way and way, one with the one, when everything is perfectly aligned, so.
Yes, when you're doing that thing about how you came into alignment, I've experienced that as like a sort of psychic download from that Akashic Records, like a very
Yes.
like clear, I'm being used as a vessel by spirit, help me be a vessel for this information. And it is like a synergy and a chemistry that you have to have where everything really does come into alignment at the exact right time. And,
it's not that these things ever left me, because the fact that the downloads have always been there. Mm-hmm. I needed to be around other people.
Well, that's the thing about spirit, right? Because all of that energy, like all of that cloud energy, and we're not supposed to individually embody all this full consciousness as individuals all the time, because it's too intense. It's too intense to handle. And it's like, as conduits individually, we can hurt our circuitry energetically if we're just doing it by ourselves. We're meant to be. Love is about shared heart. It's about shared consciousness. It's about shared beingness and oneness and with each other. You have to have other humans who are embodying this energy at the same time to have that, because it's not about our individual experience. This life is more than just us and our own egos dealing with our stuff, our human stuff and our soul stuff. It's really about graduating and, with a whole class,
Yes.
So you take it up a level by surrounding yourself at different times with, people who are conduits of that same consciousness. And that's how we move forward and evolve as people on this planet. And let me go into my roots and connect with my ancestors, because I bet they hold some keys,
Right. Now, all the teachers that I had from all those years ago are now, they've transitioned, but now I'm able to connect with them. They're in the ethers, right? But they're gone, and it's kind of weird. I'm like, well, I need some corporeal people to connect with, and it's just been odd, because when I remember even like years back when in the late 80s, early 90s, when I just put the energy out there and I just said, I need a community. And back then there was a phone book, and I just put it out there, because you know how it is when you decide on something and then just boop, here it is, So I had to do the same thing now. Now there's no phone book, but now there's the internet. And I finally decided, okay, so listen, I'm at that place now again. So, I have not been able to, but I need that. Now, let me just tell you, as far as the interfaith work. So because I did not have that as far as a specific Kemetic community, I still need to have other ministers to connect with who are out here doing the work as far as connecting with, helping our community. Okay. There are people who are Christians and Muslims who are out here who are doing the work. I couldn't find anybody who was, who my particular faith. I'm working on that. All right. But, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be reaching out and connecting with the Rosicrucian community locally. And so, but that's cool. But that's another thing. But as far as the past couple of years working with the interfaith community, that's been very exciting, because they've had preconceived notions about what ancient Egyptian people who believe in the ancient Egyptian religion is about. So they've had a different perspective now because of my presence and what I'm bringing to the table. And, that now they understand that we're not evil.
It's so exciting that with your scholarship and all of your experiences, that you can bring this, that they're open to you.
Yeah, because I'm not coming in, I'm not proselytizing at all. I've just come, the first couple of years, I was just there in quiet. I would just be there and just be there. And I would show up for different things. I would just be there. And eventually I got asked to pray. It took a long time, because a lot of times they really didn't know what to do with me, because I would just be there and just be nice. And I'd be kind, Eventually when they started asking me to pray and they would hear I'm not, my prayers were similar. And I would use scriptures that sounded like theirs because it predated, their scriptures came from our holy books. And they would be like, where's that from? You know, and then I started being asked to teach because they had during the pandemic brought all of us closer together. So we all started doing this round robin in teaching every night. They every night at 9:30, they are praying. They have been faithful here. The New Jersey interfaith, the Newark interfaith has been faithful to praying for the city of Newark every single night since the pandemic started. This month makes the 2-year anniversary. They're on every night from 9:30 until like 11 o'clock at night, praying for the city of Newark. Okay. Christians, Muslims, I mean, it's unreal. That is some dedication. And I've been asked to come every couple of months. They'll ask me to come and share. And they know now if Queen Mother's coming, that she's not coming to preach, she's coming to teach. And they have their notebooks and their pens ready. And I break it down, you know, with historical facts, but also with teachings, you know, and usually it's encouraging how we as faith leaders should stay healthy, how we should stay encouraged to, you know, to look in on one another, but also about living according to our codes as ministers, you know, living up to the high calling. In fact, that's what the last message was that I shared about living up to the code of our calling. Okay. And they know ancient Egyptians were not evil and the ministry was pure. You know, I mean, in our prayers, I am pure, I am pure, I am pure. You know, that's a lot. That's an awful lot. So they've gotten a whole different perspective on what it is. But see, the truth is also in the resurrection of these teachings, many have gotten it wrong. And they have focused on a lot of corporeal pleasures. They have corrupted these teachings. So listen, the fact is that there is a reason why many Christians and Muslims have come to believe that the teachings were evil, because many have gotten it wrong in their own personal beliefs and misuse of the teachings based on their own personal lusts and wanting to turn it into personal harems and their own abuses of women. And so you can't blame folks for the way that it ended up becoming corrupt in the last days before Kemet fell. So that's another reason why I use the opportunities that I have to teach as an educable moment, because they're not entirely wrong.
But hasn't power corrupted in all traditions and all spiritual traditions?
That's the
I
truth.
mean, and now these things are just, you know, everything is being exposed more and more and more, you know. So I think, yeah, there's that, but then there's also a lot of colonial mentality that's superimposed through Christianity onto onto people, you know. Like I mean, I think there is a fear of a return to the original spirituality because of the indoctrination against it, right? And to bring it for people to be able to see the commonality of all these religions and everybody, all these ministers, you guys all connecting, like that's the most healing thing, to see where the truth, because I feel like there's a lot of obfuscation of truth and there's a lot of misunderstandings through like the Bible and the Quran, because there's wonderful things, but then there's these things that don't really make sense like with everything else, they don't. So I always think it's because the messenger got it wrong, right? That's because of their own biases and whatever, they were filtering through their ego and they made mistakes.
The good thing about interfaith is that it forces us to find commonality. And it forces us to find so-called political correctness so that we're not stepping on each other's toes, and we're forced to be polite and not offend one another. We're very careful in how we come at each other so that we can find common ground. So, that's one good thing. I'm very careful in how I pray. I'm aware of the fact that Goddess might be kind of heavy for some folks. We pray understanding that there is Mother, Father, and so I know that we believe in Nebetshur, which means the one who is of the Most High, of the ultimate limit. Netcheru, which means the one of no limitations. So when I pray, I say divine limitless creator. Okay? You can't argue with that. So I'm not going to get into any kind of arguments. That's not why I'm there. I'm not there to proselytize. That's not in our tradition anyway. We don't believe in any of that. If you read a lot of the ancient prayers, when the sages were writing, they would say, pray to the God of your town, being aware of the fact that each of the provinces had their own gods and goddesses. So, and that's wisdom. You do you. I was sharing with an old friend I caught up with yesterday about the fact that I don't get caught up in who you pray to. Listen, if you pray to a doorknob and that works for you, you go ahead and work with praying to your doorknob. I'm not going to argue with that. If praying to you, the heel of your shoe works for you, then that listen, if it's going to keep you from bopping me over the head, then that's fine. Okay. That's fine. You do that. All right. So I've met people who don't believe in God, goddess, nothing, who are atheists, but who will give you the shirt off of their backs. What matters is the kind of individual that you are. Because I also know people who have been up in the pulpit who will rob you blind. What matters is the kind of individual that you are on this earth, how you will treat your fellow man. So bottom line, that's the bottom line. How are you going to, what kind of citizen do you show up to be on this planet? Are you going to feed the hungry? Are you going, in the prayers, as you, and according to the beliefs of when you're defending your life, when it's all over, it says, I have given a boat to those who have needed passage across the waters, because that meant everything. If you were stuck on the shore and you had to go across the waters, somebody didn't have a boat, hey, I gave them a boat, or I gave them a ride. Somebody was hungry, I gave them food. That's what matters. So when you help somebody to discover their strengths or help them in their times of need, that's bottom line what matters. When you get together with others, like when I get together with other ministers who are out here doing the work, that is what matters to me. All right. I was on my way to the bank the other day, and as I was on the bus and I'm passing City Hall, and I see that they're setting up for an event. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to be there. It was an interfaith prayer event for the Ukraine. And I realized I was not appropriately attired. I had on my cool stretch pants and my chunky boots. So I said, all right, Queen Mother, you can make it. You have a decision to make. You can like welch on your word and not go, which would not be cool. Even though there are other ministers, there's so many other ministers, like you're probably not going to be missed, right? But then again, you're the only Kemetic minister. That's not going to be cool. But even so, you said you were going. I got off the bus. I went to this little junior shop. I went to the sale rack. I said, let me find a skirt. See if I can find a long skirt to put on to cover up my stretch pants, my cool African print stretch pants and my cool chunky boots, okay? And instead I found this nice white, long, ministerial looking, tunic and another, it was a very, it looked like what I should have had on. And it was a lesson because I said to myself, you know what? This is how you really should have been looking when you left the house in the first place. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So folks can find your book at shenuministries.com or .info.
.info. Yeah.
shenuministries.info, and that's
right.
SHENU ministries. And folks can find your classes. You have some warrior empowerment classes for women. You have a series that's 7 days coming up.
Yes.
Can you tell us how to sign up for that?
Actually, what you can do, because I guess I should put it up on the website tonight. But you can Cash App me. Well, here's what I'm telling people to do: Cash App me at the $ Elaine Lloyd, LLOYD. That's ELAINE LLOYD. Nazario NAZARIO is $35. And then go to my Queen Mother Imakhu page on Facebook. So that's facebook.com/Imakhu. Okay. Like the page. And on groups, you'll find it there. You know what? Tonight I'm just going to put up a page. I'll put up a page. You'll find it. Okay. On the Shenu site. Okay. I'll make it easy.
Cool. And you have poetry performances coming up?
I do. Yeah. My poetry will be featured at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. The young poets, they look out for me. Dimitri Reyes is an amazing young poet, and he has included me as part of this poetry series as he's been patching me into his work. And so some of my poetry will be featured there, and also for another poetry series, when women speak. And so one of my pieces is featured for that for Women's History Month this month. And so I'm very, very excited about that, because I am a poet, and also as a yogini, I've been asked to come back to the school that I've been teaching at Hawkins School, and instead of bringing drumming this year, I've been asked to come back and bring my my yoga classes, because the kids are so stressed out because of COVID. So I'll be there, and also I'll be teaching the kids, but also I'll be teaching the seniors yoga at a rec center here in Newark. But also I'm going to be teaching yoga to some of the gangs here in Jersey. So I'm dealing with all these different sides of.
Wow, that is very cool.
Yeah, very excited about it.
Yeah, yoga is extraordinarily transformative and stress relieving. So that is very cool. Yeah, so do you want to go out with either a poem or an excerpt from your book? know?
Let me share one of my poems that I'll be doing for that'll be performed at NJPAC. It's so cool that students will be doing my poem for the NJPAC series. This is called Blessed Bodega. But bodega is it's called a poppy store. Okay, it's like an Hispanic corner store where you can get like everything, but also it's a tradition. It's kind of traditional for the owners of the bodegas to leave out breadcrumb offerings for the birds or the Age. The Age are known as the little witches of Oshun, and it's considered good luck to leave out blessings for the birds so that you will attract good luck for your store. And it's sort of a cultural thing that you just never question that. You just quietly step around it, and so and that's nobody questions it. So this is called Blessed Bodega. No one dare question the early morning offerings, the daily instant altars of ample bread bits given to Age outside bodegas for the blessings of Oshun laid with love. Ire, bless me Oshun, Modupwe Ashe. Step aside, around, but not on. Treat poppies, pigeons like doves, not winged vermin. Disrespect invites folly. Even devout cross carriers genuflect, discreetly dipping inside to aisle 5, grabbing 7-day doings, so and such. Yeah, Poppy won't preach, because Poppy ain't no kind of snitch. No one dare question the early morning offerings, the daily instant altars of ample bread bits given to Age outside bodegas for the blessings of Oshun laid with love. Ire, bless me Oshun, Modupwe Ashe.
We've been speaking with Dr. Reverend Queen Mother Imakhu, author of Shenu, the Khametic Water Wisdom Practice. You can hear the first part of the interview at WOMR.org under podcasts. You've been listening to Healing Wisdom, a Thursday morning weekly show featuring guests who share their journeys and expertise, providing us with food for thought. I'm your host, Pandora Peoples, Reiki and shamanic practitioner. You can find Healing Wisdom podcasts at WOMR.org or on Facebook and Instagram pages. We're listening to O Mashe Bello from Alessandro Esposito. You can find his music at soundcloud.com/Alessandro-Esposito-10.